Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance episode number 35. I've got lots of people here today. I've got Riyadh is back, Dr. Jen is here, Dr. Belinda is here. We are going to talk about Riyadh's recent injury and sort of step by step what happened. So Riyadh, we briefly talked about a couple of episodes ago about how you broke your collarbone on a Saturday, and then you raced again the following Sunday, right? Why don't you just... okay, why don't you introduce yourself again, and we'll go around and introduce ourselves, then we'll get started.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Riyadh. You might have heard the previous episode about my story of how I became a cyclist and my journey as a national athlete, and now currently like a semi-pro full-time athlete. If you haven't, you can go back and listen to it.
Episode 33.
Yeah.
Dr. Jen is episode number 1.
That's right, all the way back.
And Belinda is episode number 5, I think. So, Dr. Jen, you're an orthopedic surgeon.
Yep, I have an interest in sports injuries, and I dabble in triathlon, so I have a lot of patients and friends as well who see me for all their injuries.
You dabble in triathlon. You went to the SEA Games for triathlon, didn't you?
Yeah, that's duathlon, not triathlon. I can't swim for nuts.
Okay.
I'm Belinda. I'm a physiotherapist. I started Fahrenheit Performance 8 years ago. And but prior to that, I was working in the US. So not unusual for me to see lots of athletes as well. And I think back then I was also working as with a bike fitter very closely. So we did see a lot of triathletes as well as cyclists, whether some recreational, some professional. So Riyadh is not so new in that sense, except that obviously why we're here talking today is something very new.
Well, I think the process is the same. It's just the time frame. It was just quite accelerated, right? So Riyadh, talk us through what the backstory of what happened, right? You were at the World Championships a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so it was on the 13th of July. It's the UCI Mountain Bike Eliminator World Championships in Germany. So a little bit about what the Eliminator race is. It's like, of course, it's on mountain bikes. And it's on a short course, which is usually about 500 meters or 1 minute in length. So there will be 4 guys racing in each race. And the top 2 of each race will go on to the next round. So it starts with like qualifications.
So how many people in the total pool at the beginning?
Total pool usually is about 40 to 50 riders.
Okay.
And then you go through individual time trial and you qualify for the top 32, which you call it the heats. And then only the top 2 goes on to the next round. So you go to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then to the big finals.
So you had already qualified for the quarterfinals, right?
Yeah, so I qualified for the heats already, and you go step by step to the quarterfinals. And on the quarterfinals race, which is against a French guy, Polish, and I can't remember, but yeah, another 4 guys. So I felt really strong on that day. Everything leading up to that day felt really good. I was mentally really strong and physically also very prepared. I feel ready to give my all for the world champion stripes. And as each round went, I felt really confident also. And it was really I felt it was a special day lah. Your legs felt amazing and all. So I started really well on that quarterfinal race, side by side with the number 2 ranked in the ITT on that day.
Well,
so he was really good around the course for 1 lap. So his start was also really amazing. So we were side by side from the start all the way to when I crashed.
So typically in these races, is it similar to BMX where the guy that gets the first guy that gets the corner has a pretty good chance of winning the whole race?
Usually it's either the first or second will be really a good chance of winning the race because the courses are usually very tight, narrow, and spaces to pass are usually very limited.
And you came in basically first and second with that guy, and you both crashed, right?
Yeah.
So if there was no crash, you probably would have got to the semifinals at least.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But anything can happen. Someone can have a puncture, someone can just slide out, and and lucky for the third and fourth guy, the two of us crashed in the front. So they just got an easy race onto the semi-finals.
So that was basically sea container obstacle, and then it was like a tunnel, and you just ran to the side of it, right?
So a lot of these races, they are like urban courses where they have man-made obstacles like jumps, drops, or like chicanes where they just put planks. So this was a special or like an interesting one where we have to go through a container. So they put two containers side by side and enter through one side and then exit through the other. And going into the container, there's like a little bit of a ramp. So at high speed, we were probably like going 55 kilometers per hour. So when just like going into that, we will gain some air time. So I think we were side by side already, and getting the air time, I think we touched handlebars. And I lost my control. And when I landed, it was like I couldn't land and turn to exit on the right. So I just went straight into the...
And if you landed with a crooked handlebar, you dart off to the wrong
you're probably like
direction.
just... So I crashed into the container wall. I was lucky to not hit my head directly through the container wall. So it was just like slightly to my right, which is my collarbone. That's why.
It's a very big difference.
Yeah, that's why.
At least you're not wearing full face helmets, right? You're just wearing regular helmets.
Road helmet.
So you had to duck.
Sorry?
You had to go.
I probably, but it was really, really too fast. When I hit him, I knew that it's not gonna end well already. So when I hit the wall, it was my handlebar first, I guess, because my handlebar also broke. So I hit the handlebar, so it maybe saved my impact a little bit more.
Touch here.
And then I guessed it will be my collarbone. But at first impact, when I crashed and I was on the floor, I felt a lot of pain on the shoulder. So I thought it was a broken shoulder or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I knew something was broken because it was like unbearable pain. Usually you can just like fall and then quickly get back up, and then you want to salvage whatever
I saw the photos
positions.
of that. You were basically on the ground, and then they propped you up against the wall, and what medics came in.
Yeah, so I was still in the container, and they wanted me to get out of the container because everyone has to go 2 laps, right? So the guys have to come around again.
Run over you.
Yeah, they want me to get as soon as possible out. But I really couldn't move myself, so they had to like carry me or support me as quick as possible. But when I went out of the course, they sat me down next to the barriers. I was like, I can't move already. Just walking also, it's too much. I mean, with the impact, that not trauma, like shock. Yeah, the shock is already quite great. So,
And this is in Germany?
Germany,
right?
Aalen, Germany. It's like a small city, maybe
so you're at 12
1
hours
hour
flight from home, and this is happening over there. What did they take you to the local hospital, or what did they do?
Yeah, so the hospital was just like 5 minutes away from the race course. Yeah, we just took an ambulance there, and then we went to check for an X-ray to see really what happened. I was quite hopeful that it was nothing, like it was just maybe just shock or no broken bones, because after a while I was like, okay, this is actually bearable, and I feel I can move my shoulder up, I can move my shoulder down. I was like, okay, maybe it's nothing. Yeah,
I know that's what I was thinking.
And the back of my mind is like the national championships next week. So I was like, but I think I can race.
Jen, is that common? If you break your collarbone, you can actually move your arm around and...
You probably can't lift it up, but you can only move like circulars around it. Because the level collarbone comes in like to play when you lift it up a bit more, but you still hurt and move your arm. Yeah, for sure, you definitely would lift it up from collarbone fracture. It was a complete fracture too, so yeah.
And did you have to decide then and there what, like, if your surgery is going to be in Germany or you come home to do it, or...
Yeah, I mean, I would always prefer to do it in Singapore because of the trust and like the ease of post-surgery
of course
things, right? So when we got the X-ray result and it was like a broken collarbone, the only thing to do is plan for a surgery back in Singapore. And we had planned for a rest day after our race, so we will fly 2 days after our race.
So you didn't bring the flight forward or anything?
No, we didn't. Yeah, so we just like just spend 1 day extra
with a broken
in Munich. With a broken bone, but it was bearable because I had a sling which is quite solid.
Because it really pulls it against the body, right? Those collarbone slings.
It got a bit uncomfortable when I had to be in the car and was moving a little bit.
Yep.
But when you're not doing anything, just sitting down, lying down, it's quite bearable. So
Yep.
I just said, it's okay. We just wait for...
And you had someone to help you pack your bags and put your bike away. And all that
Everything
sort of
was
stuff.
done by my coach. So he was the only one with me.
Was that Junaid?
Junaid. Yeah.
That's cool. He's a Singaporean face you can trust, and you just take.
And he's always with me. So we work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was like pretty much disabled and can't do anything, he had to do all the
He's
packing,
like
my
dead.
bike, my bike and everything else, like carry all the bags into the car, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And but so we organized. We called up in Dr. Jen and
So how did you get involved?
So I got a message on Saturday that one of the national cyclists has sustained a collarbone fracture, and I was activated to respond to the emergency. So I got in touch with Coach June and sent over the X-rays, which showed obviously the broken collarbone. And I understand that Riyadh was still hoping to race the following Sunday, which was something that I've not actually had to think of doing before.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So when I heard that, if I had my way, I would have asked him to actually fly back on Sunday and get it sorted out to give myself the most amount of time before the championship. But can't believe that it was flying back on Tuesday, and I knew that get the best chance of it to kind of go in there early, get it to do his rehab quickly to put in the best chance of going for the championship. So I think when you arrived on Tuesday, everything was actually settled. I had the OT booked, had everything in place so that once you get back, you can go straight for the surgery. And so it was really the plan for the time that you arrived.
Yeah, because I think on the Sunday, Dr. Jen texted me and said, "Oh, one of the BMX riders crashed and he's broken his collarbone." I'm like, "BMX rider? I don't know any BMX riders, right? What's his name?" He goes, "Oh, Hakim." And I don't know any BMX riders named Hakim. I said,
"Sorry."
And then I realized, and then I thought about it. I thought about it because. Is that Riyadh? And he goes, yeah, Riyadh. Oh, yeah, that's right. And I go, oh, he's a mountain biker, not a BMXer.
Sorry. I tried. He does not know his bikes.
So then I went, oh, shit, Riyadh, because then I knew that champs are coming up, right? And then Dr. Jen told me the timeline. Oh, I'm just operating on Tuesday, and then he wants to be racing on Sunday. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Never tried that before.
So how was the flight back? Was it okay? It was 12 hours or something on the plane.
Yeah, so after one day of being in a sling and I got pretty comfortable with it already. But it's just a long haul flight.
Yeah.
And we had to transit to Abu Dhabi and then another flight. So it's 7 hours and then 10 hours, I think.
Oof.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was quite long. But we arrived in Singapore at 5 a.m. and I had time to go back.
So you arrived on Tuesday? Tuesday morning at 5
Tuesday morning, 5 a.m.
And then what time was the surgery? Tuesday, right?
Sorry, no. Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. So then I came...
Straight.
5 p.m.
Did you sleep?
Yeah.
5 p.m.
Sleep in the plane.
Oh, then you came straight to him.
That was a few hours, so I went home first and
Pretty much
unpacked.
straight.
Yeah, pretty much straight, yeah.
So then we're on Tuesday already, right?
Yeah.
Now you've been activated.
Yeah, so that's the first time I met Riyadh physically. We were doing teleconsult over the weekend, deciding on what to do and what was the plan for him. I've met up with Riyadh and his dad just before the surgery to go through the game plan again. Don't get your hopes up too high about the championship, but the main thing is just making sure the surgery is successful, everything will go smoothly, and just focus and recovering day by day to come back and slowly build up towards maybe the champs if things work out. So I knew from the time of the injury that I definitely can't trust you guys. I don't trust being an athlete myself. I've experienced it myself, so I don't trust athletes when it comes to rehab. And I know that if I was gonna fix you, I would need to give you the strongest plate, titanium nonetheless, light and strong, and putting as many screws as possible to make it the strongest thing that you will not break it again. Even if you did not try the championships, but even in the future, and you go back to competitive racing maybe, and the chance of that breaking is very low. Yeah, so the first question you asked, so many screws, doctor?
Yeah.
So
So the surgery itself, was it just straightforward?
It was a straightforward surgery, but I think for me it's just deciding on what plate to use and how many screws to put in, because to get the best stability for the fracture, the number of screws used is correlates to that. So I knew that I had to put in as many screws as I can to ensure the best stability, to give the best chance about getting back to riding in 5 days.
When the reps sell you guys these these screws and whatnot.
Right, it does.
Do they the implants, right? Do they actually share with you how much stress or force before it starts to give out? Do you guys know from the get-go to get this idea?
Yeah, when we are trained in our orthopedic residency on how to fix this fracture, the principles behind it, whether it's a really complex fracture or a simple fracture, and what kind of like screws you need, how many screws you need, and where the screws are placed, how to optimize the stability for the fracture healing. So yeah, but there's no textbook saying that like this number of screws we click to this much. It's a lot of sometimes experience, a lot of like usually, hopefully, like through the time that you've done some surgeries and knowing athletes like Riyadh, we used to be able to like cut with this, just go in there, put in as many screws as you can to ensure the best.
There's a lot of variables.
Yeah, a lot of variables, and for sure, like the bone quality, the patient's compliance from rehab. Yeah. So a lot of these things. Yes, for sure.
So basically, what you do is you got the bone that's broken, then you put the plate, the titanium plate, adjacent to the collarbone, and then you just screw that plate to the collarbone, right?
Yeah. So we put the two ends of the fracture together, ensure that it touches and is in good contact.
Yep.
And the plate goes on top of that, and the screws goes on each of the fracture sites, so it stabilizes, it off-loads the fracture to allow the fracture to
a bridge.
Yeah, essentially.
So then the fracture in between, now that knits back together.
Yes.
And you should have a full collarbone.
Yes.
And one day he can take the plate out if he wants to.
Very
right?
common question that I think Riyadh is asking me as well before the surgery, whether like he needs to remove the plate. Don't always have to, but if it bothers you, like we can. But so far, like seems okay.
So far it's okay. Only when I drink like cold water, I feel like a little bit of a spine, a little bit of a chill.
You sound like an old man. Oh, the cold winter's day, my knee.
You can predict the rain. If it's a cold day or like it might rain, like some people like
Okay, I'm trying. I'll try.
It's a new superpower that you
Yeah, I've heard of that as well.
It's gonna rain. I can't explain it like there's no Western medicine that can explain that, but I get a lot of these patients saying that.
So now it's because of titanium, that's actually stronger than his other side collarbone, theoretically, right?
That doesn't mean that like you can go around breaking the other one. Now they're not going to reinforce you with titanium on the side.
Wolverine.
No, yeah.
Okay, so you put like maybe 20% more screws in just because you know it needs to
ensure that
make sure die doesn't break, right?
Possible knowing that he'd erase for 5 days and was the best chance of back into it.
So then that was Tuesday, right?
Tuesday night.
Then you started a group chat, beating Tom Pidcock or something like that, right?
Yeah.
What's the story?
So the story is that Tom Pidcock had a similar clavicle fracture, and he was actually back on his bike riding 7 days after his surgery. Not racing, just riding on the outdoors, like on his bike.
Yeah.
So when
It's already amazing, right?
That's considered to be...
It's already crazy.
Yeah.
big side, a few months later.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like there's Tom Pidcock has the whole support crew and then all that around him. I think for Riyadh, like I think the fact that he was actually game to race 5 days after like injury was just to me is like just amazing human like endeavor to push the limits of the human body and see how like your body responds to such a thing. And I mean, I was very inspired by Tom Pidcock, and like when Riyadh came along, do this and beat him at his game.
Yeah.
Actually challenge his record. I mean, there's not Guinness Book of Records.
So then that's Tuesday night. You finish the surgery,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Sometime on Wednesday
Morning. Yeah.
you came here,
Yes.
right? We had a slot. I don't know. We had a slot. You came in.
Yeah.
Belinda managed to see you. Belinda, what typically for something like this, what is this protocol and what's the steps to rehab someone?
So very common. Sometimes the surgeon doesn't send till like maybe 1 or 2 weeks after. So it's not uncommon that they don't come see me after first day. I've seen in the US when I was working there, most of them are day one post-op. They're already in their early mobilization for the joint for good passive range of motion. So they don't actually freeze up. This is the key thing, right? So commonly that's the first goal. But so we expect them also 6 weeks tissue healing is the common sort of the thing we follow by, right? Before we start resistance training, depending on the surgeon really. So each surgeon may have a slightly different protocol, some a little bit more aggressive in either early mobilization or resistive training. And also depending on their trust with the physio that they work with. If they're used to it and they know that this physio is not going to do random stuff, then they'll probably like, okay, I'll let this physio take charge of what, the progression in rehab. But for the most part, I think I will always call the surgeon if I want to start something new, like strength training is definitely something new. Push-ups is something that I'd be afraid of. So I'm very careful on that. But in terms of returning to sport, probably like 3 months, if I'm lucky, if the surgeon allows.
Yeah.
6 months, definitely a bit more. They're a bit more likely to let me have that, freedom to let that patient go into sports. But definitely the kind of sports he's doing, I don't even know 6 months if they'll let me,
Because there's a lot of vibrations, there's a lot of bouncing.
We have this thing in Australia called accelerated protocol, but to call ours an accelerated protocol is an understatement because yours is like hyper speed. So it's like light speed,
warp speed.
But
it's like
it takes stars to be aligned, right? Like all three has to be on the same page. I needed Jen's encouragement, or also his he was just standing right there in my room saying, okay, Ken, right?
Yes.
And can I do this? Okay, Ken, right? So immediately I get okay from him. I start progressing him. I didn't, like I mentioned to both of them, I didn't skip any steps. I didn't jump any steps for Riyadh's rehab. I still followed passive range of motion, active range of motion. He had to nail every single goal before I moved to the next step. And because he aced everything, so it also, because Riyadh's body is a very conditioned body, number one, and number two, he's very determined, and he's not. There are some athletes who are kind of crazy, so after rehabbing them, they feel great. They go do something crazy, but Riyadh's not one of them. He understands certain boundaries, and he's actually as an athlete, he does follow certain rules, and he gets it, and that helps me with the rehab as well. So in that sense, I feel like the stars really have to be aligned for that. If Riyadh was a different person, I don't know if this would be as fast. If Jen wasn't there, definitely none of this would be even possible. So I feel like we were just lucky that all three were like-minded.
Yeah, because like day one, right? You came in. Your clinic happens to be upstairs,
which is great.
Which is very awesome, right? Literally in the same building.
Yeah.
You came down. So Belinda, day one, what would you do? It's like it's basically 12 hours from the operation time, right?
Yeah.
Usually I just want to see if he can even tolerate passive motion, because if they're in so much pain, the first thing I want to do is, how can I eliminate the pain? Where is the pain coming from? Is it a neurogenic pain? And lucky for me, Riyadh's is a neurogenic pain. It wasn't like super inflamed kind of pain. Because he also had that crash where there's likely to be some kind of whiplash. Some neck injury. So I thought, okay, let's see if I can get that pain to go away from a different source, which is the neck. So I treated the neck. I wanted to optimize the nervous system so that it feeds the muscles well. So we went in that sort of step-by-step sequence before we started. And the day two, before we started some strengthening, we started active range of motion. Day two, we did put some weight on it with permission. But
so day one was just about getting the arm moving again. I remember you came in and it's like
finding the limit.
Yeah, where you could move it, and then we do or something, and then you try again, right? So at the end of day one, Riyadh, were you hopeful? Or what was your thoughts? Or was it like, oh crap?
I was very hopeful. So like, I was supposed to go home and rest, and like, I don't know when it's gonna be my next physio, right? So when Dr. Jen told me like, do you want to do physio right after, like, now? I said, okay, let's do it. So yeah, so when I first met Dr. Belinda, and when she was like just trying to find out the limits of my range of motion, I didn't feel much pain, or I didn't feel any pain at all, like going through quite a bit of range of motion already. So that was already quite confidence inspiring. And then
you had no strength in your arm, right? At that time, I remember.
Yeah, maybe no strength, or maybe like not sure of what I can do. Yeah. So supported, there was a lot of range of motion. So that was like, okay, I think there might be a chance of racing this weekend. But I still didn't want to be so hopeful because like,
it was pretty much a little bit
It's
of
still-
a limp arm, right?
Yeah, it's still a big decision to make, whether
big step still.
to put yourself at risk,
Yeah, of course.
So,
I must say though, not all clavicle fixations or I have on the first day can move the way your shoulder felt. So to me, already that was super positive. It's unusual that there's no pain for me to take it all the way to full range. And I think this is why I also feel like I'm a definite advocate for day one post-op rehab, having a really close relationship with the surgeon so that we both have trust that with early mobilization, that's safe, that it won't disrupt the surgery, for example, and in fact it will help the patient improve really quickly.
yeah.
So yours is a great example for that.
I'm lucky to have like a great surgeon and a great physio to help me. To help me to do this, Yeah, but to find someone that's willing to go through this crazy.
I thought he was joking actually, because I think it was on the dining table. It's oh yeah, by the way, blah blah blah. So I just I ignored it because I just actually thought, no way, no one's gonna do it.
Is he raised 5 days?
Yeah, whatever. So I thought he was joking at first, and then all of a sudden, like looking at my schedule, hey, is there an opening? I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I can't. At first, I was like, I can't commit because all my schedules.
Yeah, the schedule is always super hard to get into.
So that somehow I don't know how.
Oh, cancellation or
yeah.
I think it was just a
Managed to
cancellation.
get you and then
day after day after day.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
right. It made
Can you come in tomorrow? Can you come in tomorrow? I was like,
correct.
okay.
It's an
Yeah,
alignment
we
of
get
stars,
everything
and it's great. I
phase.
actually thought it was a nice challenge for me because at first then I realized it's a real thing. Like, okay, he's not joking.
It's really happening.
When Jen is coming down, okay, it's real.
The stakes are
And-
real.
I have the support of a surgeon.
Yeah.
I feel much safer. Like, yeah.
Because when you're doing stuff, Jen was standing there, you can almost have a mini consult, right?
Yeah.
I was as careful as I can be, but without his okay, I don't think I would go past it. I'll be very tempted to sneak some, but I would never go past with it.
Because Jen was like the gatekeeper, right?
Yeah.
And then ask permission, and then we sort of try a little bit more, and then try a little bit more.
It's a team thing.
Yeah.
Seeing how much Riyadh can do as well. So like just showing that he hits all the milestones.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Seeing him move up is
He
just more
really
and more
did.
encouraging with each day. But we still have to like control expectation.
Yeah, I should.
Of course.
Every day.
Yeah. Because I know it's going well until like the third day when your mom came. Things are
We'll get to that.
tricky.
We're on day 2. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But nothing reckless is done, right? It's not, everything was done according to the way you would normally do it.
Yeah.
It's just that we get that to the milestone, okay, checks off, and then we get to the next milestone, it checks off, right?
Yes.
So then day 2, Riyadh, you had a tough night that night, slept badly, I think.
Yeah.
Day 2, you came in. What did we do? What did we do on day 2?
There is some regression at day 2, but if I were to say if he made, say, 50% improvement, let's just pull a number out, right? Then I'd say day 2, he dropped to like a 35%. So I lost a little bit, and in one day, if I lose that much for someone who's competing really quickly, I was really not super happy. But the pickup was quick as usual, so that was good. So I did go back to the same things I knew worked on the first day. Worked on the neck, worked on. Actually, he was so sensitive. He's got this hyperesthesia, like super sensitive to touch, that I couldn't do a lot at first. I had to go to other parts of the body to sort of switch off the central nervous system, and I guess that's not a great way to say it, but basically so as to desensitize him to some extent so that I can actually get in through my palpation to work on the joints better. And luckily he was able to take all of that. So day 2, with Jen's permission, I was able to have him work his scapula almost in like the push-up position, very gentle. And he was able to go into a Sphinx position. So that was super positive because I need to get him on the bike.
Yeah, that's a true test. Like how much force you put through on handlebar, especially in a lot of like terrain and the bumpiness. Like
So day 2 is Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So
2
by
days
the
to go.
By the end of day 2, which was 4 days before race day, for Friday, Saturday, you were sort of leaning on you weren't pushing, you were just leaning on your elbows,
like
right?
the scapula to use that muscle. Support.
And then end of day 2, Riyadh, were you feeling better again? confident?
Yeah. So like what happened on before day 2 was like I had a bad sleep.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep on my bed because of like the weather. It was a bit warm, so I just like slept on the sofa. So it wasn't a very good sleep, and maybe it aggravated the muscles around the injury a little bit more. So that's why we regressed a little bit. But after Dr. Belinda fixed it, and I felt much better. So it felt much better than the previous day anyways. So yeah, still hopeful.
So at this point, you kind of doing leaps and bounds from day 1 to day 2, day 2 to day 3 is progressing very fast, right?
Very.
Yeah.
Super.
So then by the end of day 2, what could you do? You could just VR was that range of motion much better?
We got more range of motion, and I think we still tried to do the
prone position, sphinx position.
Okay, but then strength-wise, it's still tender and still
almost no strength. Like yeah. A lot of support was needed to hold the positions.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, a lot of support was needed still. Yeah, but I was still hopeful. Yeah.
Okay. So day 3, which is Friday before the Sunday race, right?
Yeah.
You came down again, I guess.
Yeah, I came down every day just to make sure that everything's like going okay. Because I think it's crucial to have that kind of like feedback and
I know
Belinda and myself, and just seeing how things are progressing with you too. It's, I think it's crucial to have that relationship with the patient to ensure that we're listening, we are just see how things are and not dashing your hopes. So
everyone is on the same page, like managing expectations.
Yeah.
Riyadh, your mum was away for this whole thing until when Thursday night, right? Or something like that. And then day 3, your mum came, and then she came into the clinic and said, Dr. Belinda, you're not going to let him race, right? So we were like, oh, okay.
That's not a question.
We'll do what we can, and we'll put him in the best position, and it was up to him to choose, right? So day 3, what was involved in day 3?
I remember we pulled in Taka, my colleague, because he's was training in this new skill, the Institute of Physical Arts. I mean, something that we both have as a skill set. But Taka was really honing in on that skill set in terms of working with his patients. And I wanted a second pair of eyes as well, and I wanted to see if I can even super expedite this, because I only have that day left since I was flying off to KL that night. So Taka came in and helped me out a little bit with the strength bit, because I needed Riyadh's scapula and shoulder to talk to each other and function together, because a lot of times after surgery, each body part is like working separate from each other. They're not talking to each other, which in an athlete, that's really important. I guess that's considered motor control.
Was that a defense mechanism of the body, like some trauma sort of shuts down some things? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, because the whole scapula as well as the shoulder muscles will work together. When one part is damaged, injured, it's just hard to compensate completely. So especially with like the clinician required for your mountain bike, it's just important to get all this
coordination.
together.
So that's what, like, even though I realized Riyadh can move his arm, can do all this stuff with his arm, I wasn't confident that it was talking to his core, it was talking to his scapula. So I don't know if he's on the bike, if he's going to recruit from all these different sources for him to be able to take all the balance and all that impact. So I wanted to use PNF as a skill, as a technique, which is something that we use for oftentimes for neuromuscular and motor control, to get the patient to be able to go back to their sports-specific things. So he came in to help me with that. So there's 2 clinicians working on Riyadh on Friday, which was his last physio session. And at the end of the session, he was able to achieve a push quite comfortably. He did a cock bowl. We made sure we checked the scapula push-ups as well. And I do a lot of resistance on the scapula work, on the scapula. On top of that, we started to take, of course, he was not 100% race ready. So I thought, okay, you know what? If I could tape him such that we can cheat a little bit with, so that it acts like he's stronger than he currently is, then he might be able to do what he he wants to do. So when we finished the taping, I asked Ria to test, go out and bike and see how that feels. And so he did, and he sent us a video.
Yeah. I remember the tape job you were like holding. Is that a normal tape job that you do for something like this or extra?
It's quite excessive.
It's excessive because I wanted to be able to shock absorb in the joints like the elbow and all this others, elbow, shoulder, so that the shock doesn't go to his clavicle as much.
Yeah. And we videoed it, and you taught his mom how to tape as well. Did she redo the tape for race day?
On race day in the morning itself, before like 1 hour before the race.
Yep.
Because it was hot and we didn't want to like get sweat affect the taping.
Yep.
So we watched the video and taped everything. So everyone
was amazing. Like a perfect nurse, like after the surgery.
So everyone was like watching me being taped. Because I was like just being taped out in the open.
In the tent.
Yeah, in the tent. Yeah.
Was that the first time she taped you? You never tried? Did a test run?
No. No. Because
it looks
the
good.
day before professional
was yours, and then we took it out. I didn't tape on Saturday, I think. Yeah, so we just taped on Sunday.
Wow.
We only had 2 rolls, so we only had enough.
It's quite a lot. I think there's 10 meters a roll, 5 meters a roll.
And it was almost finished, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
We taped you up.
To be really honest, I was really nervous. I didn't want to know anything about what happened, and so until I came back, then people showed me videos. Wow, the tape job is good, right?
I mean, because it wasn't like much of the pain from the injury that I cannot take when I race. It's more of like, can it sustain that strength for that 1 hour of racing? You know, like not collapse or like lose that power for me to support my body, taking up all those bumps. So the tape pretty much helped a little bit because when the muscles are a bit tired, but it was really uncomfortable. Yeah.
Was it hot, uncomfortable? Tight, uncomfortable?
Tight, uncomfortable. So it felt like my body was fighting the tape a little bit. So when the tape was pulling my muscles, it did feel like my body was just getting tired from the tape a little bit. Yeah. So when I was going through the first 2 laps, it was like, oh man, I'm getting tired just holding the handlebar. But I don't know, it could be just a tape or it just could be no riding, especially or whatever. I was just like, what is this? Okay, but then
So after Friday, you left here. Belinda flew to KL. Saturday, did you do anything, or is this resting and trying to?
It was just full rest. I think at that point I was just like preserving energy.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was the best idea, because I thought after thinking about the race, I should have done some riding, like to just
on a trainer or something.
Trainer, or just like easy rides around the neighborhood or something, just to like warm up the body or like keep the muscles warm, because the fitness shouldn't have like be gone in that 5 days.
Yeah.
So it's just like maybe the muscles have gone a little bit cold, you know, like I don't know how you feel, how to say this.
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
I
after a while you don't work your muscles, it's gonna be cold sort of.
Yeah.
So when I raced on Sunday, I felt that like my muscles weren't warm enough, or it wasn't like ready to fire repeatedly for like 1.5 hours. So
the race was Sunday about lunchtime.
Yeah,
me and Jen carpooled up there. Was at the scout camp way up in Kranji area, right?
Yeah, Sarimbun Scout Camp in Lim Chu Kang.
And it's like 8 laps of sort of a pre-desert. Like how far is it?
It's about 3.9 kilos per lap. It's quite flat on a grassy area, but the organizers and Jeff Ng did a really good job to make like man-made obstacles to be worthy enough of a national championship course.
Yeah, which is normally your bread and butter, right? The man-made obstacles and stairs and stuff.
It was just missing like a long climb, a longish climb, a biggish climb, but it was really technical enough to make it challenging to be a mountain bike race rather than like a road race on grass or something.
Or a gravel.
So there was like jumps. There was like we were going down stairs, in and out of route sections. So it was pretty difficult, but manageable at the same time. Not too crazy that it will put my injury at risk, at a high risk. For example, if you do it in Bukit Timah where there's like lots of rocks, slippery routes,
and much faster as well, right?
So it was quite safe.
So how were you feeling when you got to the start line? That's when we were arriving and you guys were lining up.
So we are already on race day.
Yes, race day. So race day, me and Jen arrived about 1:00. We started about 2:00. And you're in the little corral. It's about 15, 20 of you guys all lined up, right?
Yeah, I mean, going into this national championships, of course, I wanted to the main goal was to retain that national jersey, to retain that national title of national champion.
Yep.
I felt like it was possible because of how I've been racing in the first half of the year. My fitness is definitely up there, and I felt like even with the injury, I do stand a good chance of retaining it. It wouldn't be an easy job, but it was still possible. So that's why we even tried to do this in the first place.
Yep.
But of course, you have that doubt a little bit in the morning, thinking about how can I put up with.
It's unknown, right? You don't know,
it's my first broken bone. Yeah. I don't even know how I can recover this fast.
I think we've been working so long. This is our first too. just saying.
So Jen, how are you feeling when you saw him at the start line?
I mean, to be at the start line itself was already an achievement to me.
I think so. Yeah, I think so too. To be honest,
to be able to get there and getting all the stakeholders, getting the family support, and him worked with you the whole time. But just seeing that video he sent us on day 3 of you going down the steps and not having any discomfort was to me the final milestone in a way. So definitely felt that you were in a good place to start, but to win would be something else altogether. To me, at least. In your mind, obviously, you as an athlete, you always want to aim for the top.
I wouldn't start that race if I didn't know that I had a chance of winning.
Yeah, I think that's athlete mindset. It's really important.
That's great, actually.
Really the psychology behind winning.
And then when I was when I arrived to the race venue, everyone was asking, "Are you going to race today? Are you really going to race today?" And all the concerned parents were like, your mom wouldn't be letting you race today, right? No way. Yeah, but I say maybe we'll see. So I was still doubting myself a little bit. But I didn't want to be super out saying I'm gonna race. Yeah. So just to manage myself as well.
So didn't they call you, Jen, on race day?
Yeah, I was at church with my family when I got a message from Riyadh saying that I need your help, doctor. I think they're organizing the letter from you saying that you're actually fit to race. So I was scrambling because obviously I was at church.
Yeah,
you're really
official,
brave too, Jen. To put your name on that.
I was at church praying
for divine help. Right?
No, I mean, but I kind of saw the milestones. I mean, I don't think it was reckless because you really went through on milestones. And this is not a story to tell everyone that you can race 5 days.
Of course not.
Yeah.
It's more about just sharing about how you have to have all the stakeholders,
the process,
the process, and about having an athlete who's determined to know the limits of his body, knowing when to push himself, knowing when to say no, I don't think I can race, knowing a therapist who can actually work with me to really bring you that to optimize things and to obviously have family behind you as well, who's supportive, knowing that you want to race and if you're able to hit all those milestones, we'll support you. So I mean, to me, it was really it was really fun. I mean, now that we have survived it, then you'll be like, what not to do? It's 5 days after this.
The cameraman never dies, right? It's only good because if anything happened and then no crashes. Exactly. So then the race itself you went to the front straight away. I was cheering you on the sidelines. And then,
it has a little bit of mind games when I do that.
Yeah.
Usually when I race locally, it's usually I start really strong and then I just open up the gap. Even in the first lap, it's already maybe 1 minute
so to demoralize the person so they don't.
So just open the gap as big as possible to make them think it's actually a really big task to catch back. And so I tried to do that, but even on the first start straight, I was I don't think I can do that today. I don't think I can do that today. Yeah. So just getting on the off the saddle, I was I'm not myself today. So so after the first 2 turns, the whole pack was still behind me, and it's not something that usually happens. So I was okay, this is gonna be difficult. So,
interesting.
So But I still wanted to maintain that position in the front to control the pace of the race. My brother was in the same race. Afan Faisal, who is my biggest rival on that day, was also in that race, and they were testing me each turn, like pushing, trying to overtake me and like see how much I can go faster and faster. But I think after the first lap, they already know that that's the maximum I can go, because usually the gap is already open.
It's
but
actually so
they were,
mental.
yeah, they were still together. So they just kept trying to push me further and further to see how much I'm willing to push, and if they can open up a gap just by breaking me, sort of like mentally,
finding a little chink in the armor to get to you, right?
And then they would just like, I can win
It's
today,
very
and
mental,
then and then they will be more confident each lap, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just like trying to delay, and I think I managed to actually open a big gap after the third lap, probably like 30 seconds already. So I was like hopeful, okay, today actually I can win it again. But something happened on the fourth lap. There was like a little small hole, not a little, like it was quite a decent hole with some roots in the middle. So I have to like control my bike really well to go through that obstacle. If not, like the front wheel will be like sinking into that obstacle. So the first 3 laps was fine because you were still so fresh, but on the fourth lap, fatigue started to kick in a little bit, and I made a mistake, and going to that hole really made my collarbone feel a little bit of pain, actually quite a lot of pain. So I had to really slow down to like recoup myself. And I thought, okay, while I recoup myself, maybe I just recover my body and my breathing and all, just to wait for them, and then maybe latch on when they overtake, and then just like try to fight again in the second half of the race. So they latched on back to me, and immediately just started to attack again. So like to just break that link.
That's
so
a typical road strategy, right?
Yeah, when you catch the one in
breakaway,
front,
you
just
fly off.
keep on going again, so that you break the mentality of the guy in front. So that's exactly what happened. I couldn't get back into my groove just to like keep on that power. I couldn't do it. So it took me quite long, and maybe only when I was in the 6th lap, I got into the groove again. I felt like the gap was getting closer and closer, but letting them race on their own, they also can manage their own pace, so they weren't killing themselves in the front. So when the most important time, which is like the last 2 laps, they can really go hard and like finish off the race and win, which what happened at the last 2 laps.
So you ended up going second.
So the under 23s and the elites started together in the same race.
Yep.
So my brother is the winner in the under 23. In the race itself, he was second.
Yep.
Behind Afan Faisal, who is the winner of the day.
Okay.
So in the whole race, I was third, but in the elite category of the national championships, I was second.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's when me and Jen had a sigh of relief.
Yeah, across the mission.
I think everyone had a relief. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I was quite emotional when I saw everyone at the finish line. I was like, this is the best I can do today. You know, everyone is always very supportive of my journey as a mountain bike athlete in Singapore. You know, traveling around the world with the Singapore flag. I think I couldn't get where I am today without the help of the entire nation. Yeah, and then the mountain bike community, I mean the cycling community as a whole, is actually quite very tight knit. We are quite close together. Yeah. So there is like the emotional bond feeling to see everyone like supporting me even if I didn't win. So it was quite heartfelt for me. Yeah.
I was the first time watching a mountain bike race.
A part of me is always like trying to inspire the younger generation to see like actually sports is something that you can do as a job, you know, like in the long term.
It's very atypical of in Singapore.
Not just like something you do when you are in school, you know. And to see that you can do this to open up your opportunities to travel the world, you know, to meet people from different countries. It's all a really great experience, but you have to work. You have to work, you know.
Even if there's not a professional athletes, you can also, there's still avenues of coaching and there's avenues of all these other things that people can do. Like United right now, right?
Yeah, that's true.
He's not racing anymore, but he's still working in the whole cycling industry and sports and helping out all the next generation, right?
And I feel like when I do this crazy thing of like coming back 5 days from a crazy injury, a broken bone, it's like nothing is impossible if you really put your heart and soul to it. You find the right people who can really help you, really want to help you. And of course, yourself, you have to be very strong mentally and have a really strong mind to push yourself.
And believe in the process, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope this inspires everyone.
I think the next time, right, it'll be one more person, 3 plus one more would be sports psychology, right? That would be
often.
Yeah.
Because physically getting back is one thing, but then and mentally getting back is also
to get you prepared to when you're facing your adversaries during the match, during the competition itself, what you should be thinking of, and all this self-talk, right?
That could have been
the next
another
level.
one, another one that would have.
Yeah, because when somebody gets close to you, I think it's.
I don't think we have enough chairs.
I forget that cycling is so mental. Like everything you just said, obviously I wasn't even thinking that, but the moment you said all these things, I just think just lacking one more.
That's why they say in road cycling more lah. It's like actually it's not just the strongest one who wins. It's like more like a chess game on bikes.
Yeah.
Because of like the teamwork, the team tactics, the mental games that you play.
Yeah, and someone not pulling because they don't want to do this and
trying to break the other person's mind is essentially how you win. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, how are you? How's your arm? Is it so Jen? In actual terms, is his bone knitted together?
It's been X-ray about 2 weeks ago, and it shows that the bone is in place. It's slowly healing, but
nothing moved.
Nothing moved.
Oh, wow.
That was very important.
It actually can take so much force.
Except for the X-ray, I was like, "You sure I said
Scared,
about
is
X-ray?" I just thought they were heal fine without X-ray, but. Yeah, we did the Belinda X-ray. So, but I've been obviously, I still be careful with it. Doesn't mean that it won't break a bone just because you haven't played that. But yeah, for sure, I'm just so glad that you did this, and just really happy to be part of the whole journey.
So strength-wise, is your arm back to normal? Can you feel a difference in your strength?
So today, 6 weeks after the surgery, I feel really not really strong. I feel like the strength is coming back.
It did.
Almost as equal to the left side.
Almost, very close actually.
Yeah. So it's quite good. Like I took a 2-week break after the race, and then I started slowly riding again, just like to get the routine of training again and just get back into the groove. It was difficult. Like your body wasn't balanced and you felt a little bit weaker. But I think each day it got better and better for sure. With physio almost once every week. The physio just kept getting surprised, like, how are you recovering so fast?
It's good.
And why you even riding so much?
So textbook, right? Textbook physio, you wouldn't be.
No, 6 weeks.
6 weeks is when he starts.
He starts his therapy and exercises.
So and at home I was just been doing simple exercises, pushing the strength a little bit more day by day, and it's quite amazing that today it's almost back to normal. Although I think the bone is not even joined fully yet.
No, it takes about 2 or 3 months. But it's stone.
Yeah, but I had a mountain bike, my first mountain bike ride last weekend, and the first 2 laps were a bit iffy because there was more movement than riding on road. So it felt a little bit uncomfortable. But on the 3rd lap, it felt like I was back to normal already. And I was like going really fast in the trails. So I was like, wow. And in the morning, it was raining. So it was slippery. I was like, why is the first... Why is the first mountain bike... Why is the first mountain bike ride going to be on slippery rocks and roots? But I took it really slow on the first 2 laps, looking at the grounds. Is it safe to do so? And everything was fine. And I was really confident of how my body was reacting to the different drops and jumps. it was.
So you did do jumps, because during the race you didn't do any jumps, right? You were not doing any.
Yeah,
you were doing stairs, but not.
I didn't do any bunny hops, because I couldn't pull. But now I could really control the bike, and I could pull, I could support. So I did all the A lines in the Bukit Timah, all the big rock gardens. It was fine. So probably back to normal on the bike now. It's just a little bit of a mental aspect to just like push on in training and get back to racing. But
because racing is
slowly,
obviously it's such a fine line, right? Like you crossed that line and you crashed, but in an alternate universe you could have made that shot and you would have been in the middle of the race, right? So you need to get back in the game and work out where that line is again. And I think that's a tough one.
Yeah. I think when you want to race, you always want to win, right? So
you
will do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you forget that you have a broken bone or you're not 100%. So that fine line is something that you need to understand and maybe take a step back a little bit. Yeah.
And that's where, like, it just summarizes it so well for us that we need, like, an athlete or a patient who really knows, like, his limits and just being sensible about how to approach the process. So that's where, like, it's really hard to get all the stars aligned, and it's just great to be.
It's the right athlete to choose for this surgery. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
It made my life also easier, and it made the progression positively, positive actually.
Yeah.
Okay,
really
guys.
Really lucky to have you.
Let's next time we meet, let's have a buffet dinner or something together. not another one of these broken bones.
If not, Belinda abandoned us by flying away. She didn't want to see what was happening.
I was actually really worried, So actually, I didn't ask. I didn't want to know, and I waited even a few days when I got back before I asked. I didn't want to look at my text.
Oh, so you didn't open the group chat?
I didn't want to look because I was scared, right? And actually, for a physio, to be honest, a lot of times I have to hide this fear, because when the patient sense it, they might also react to it. So if Riyadh actually picked up that I was scared, I think he may not feel as confident. So a lot of times I have to just hide. But actually, had I been here, I'd probably try to pull Riyadh in on Saturday.
Sleeping. And you definitely wouldn't have come to the race.
I definitely won't.
She hates that sort of thing.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, I think I was like, even from day one, I was really full of trust with the two of you. Like when I first met Dr. Jen, the way he talked, the way he put out all the possibilities and how he made me feel secure, it like also helped with my mental thing. And I was like, okay, I can trust this guy. And I feel like I can do whatever it takes to make this happen, And when I met you also, Dr. Belinda, when she first treated me on the first day, it felt like she knew what she was doing really, and she was trying to do whatever she can to bring me back to fitness, sort of. Not race ready, but yeah,
back to the baseline at least, right?
Yeah, so the trust is there, and I think everyone just worked together as a team really well. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how I am back now.
Yeah, I think it's hard. If I was the mom of Riyadh, I did make a very different decision. But luckily, I'm not the mom. But as the physio, I and with Jen's support, I definitely felt quite confident he was able to do what he wanted to do. But I guess I was just being a chicken.
It's unprecedented. It was the first time that we got someone to race like in 5 days, and like what Belinda was saying, like the milestones not there like 6 weeks before you can even start doing what you're doing now. And so
I saw Riyadh just now, and actually already again he's obviously looking not like he's 6 weeks post-op. He looks like he's 3 months post-op actually. So right now I'm just picking on small things to make it more as perfect or as equal as the left side as I can in terms of mechanics of the joints. But in fact, like he said, he's biking like he doesn't realize he has an issue. Yeah,
I still bike like I have 10 lives.
You got 2 cats
on the road and on the mountain bike.
That's what it takes for your sport, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you
so I could
need
afford
that.
more successful next time, please.
But it's maybe stronger than the other side. No?
It is exactly. But it doesn't mean that she goes out and break.
So is the plan eventually to take it out, or are you gonna just
Honestly,
maybe,
I don't
in a
know.
year's time it'll decide?
At this point, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can sort of
Live
live
with
with it.
Is there a benefit? Is there a pro or con of having it in? Do you, when you go to the airport, it's a beep on metal detector now?
I thought it would, but it
It's
didn't.
titanium, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
He has a card, but I don't think it always keeps it. Depends on the sensors, like sensitivities and process.
If I leave it on for so long, would like the muscles or flesh grow into it or grow over it?
So it's
not
actually
possible,
sort
right?
of like the muscles have been below it, like in particle wellness and that, so that it shouldn't really go forward.
So like maybe after 10 years, can I still remove it?
You get
You can use.
yeah. But hopefully not. Might not be meat. It's that.
Okay, guys. I think we'll wrap up. Thank you so much, Dr. Belinda. Thank you, Dr. Jen, and thank you, Riyadh.
Thank you, Mark.
Let's catch up again in better terms, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.